Hi. Sorry, this is the strangest of setups on a certain level, but I'm doing this in the evening and there's light outside still and you can actually see my face in natural light, and I'm going to take advantage of that while I do this. So even though I'm sort of hovelled in this corner next to a window and behind, it's just let's just do it. So we have a full moon lunar eclipse in less than 48 hours time. The sun is in the sign of Leo and the moon is going to be in Aquarius at the time. And it's going to be a full moon. It's also a lunar eclipse, the last of the Aquarius eclipses. We have Mars retrograde in the sign of Aquarius as well. To me, these two events are related, and it's fascinating to me that certain astrological events this year are accompanied by planets being retrograde. So, for instance, the July 27th, and I'm sorry I have my windows open, so there might be some ambient noise, but I'm just having a good time doing this, so let's just do this. Interesting that the July 27th full moon lunar eclipse has Mars retrograde in Aquarius accompanying it. Interesting that the August 11th new moon solar eclipse will have Mercury retrograde. Mercury is going retrograde today. I'll cover that briefly in this video, but I have more on that in the August 11th solar eclipse video. And when Jupiter goes from Scorpio to Sagittarius on November the 8th, we're going to have Venus retrograde. So it's kind of fascinating that a personal planet, a smaller planet, so to speak, comes along and helps facilitate these relatively significant transitions, certainly the eclipses. Let's grab a pencil and paper and let me give you some dates, because this full moon lunar eclipse on the 27th is not just a full moon, but it is a full moon. So if over the past week, and particularly over the next 48 hours, you see an acceleration of certain types of events, some people have already seen these markers, what the full moon is kind of bringing from a few days ago, even the beginning of the week. It's interesting that it's happening on a Friday, so we have a whole week where this is going to kind of peak and crest. And full moons, the entire disk of the moon is revealed. People who have followed my videos on Facebook have heard me say this repeatedly. Full moons can bring things to light in ways that are positive and in ways that can be challenging. It's the challenging that comes to mind first, because so many of us associate full moons correctly with emotional meltdowns and the pot of milk coming to a boil and things spilling over and things being revealed and things getting heated, and just the full disk of the moon being revealed somehow just brings things to some sort of an energetic climax. People can leave jobs or people can get offers. Sometimes you're pushed into the limelight. It's not all bad news with a full moon. But something typically comes to some sort of a culmination. And if you are having some sort of an emotional reaction to something, then I would say, as long as it doesn't prove to be too destructive, at least pay attention to what's coming up, because it may be coming up for a reason. That zit may need to be popped. That bubble may need to be burst for a reason in order to effect certain changes. Things may be coming to head for a certain reason. So it is a full moon, and the wave that left the shore 2 weeks ago with the new moon is going to crash to the shore on July the 27th at 1:20 p.m. Pacific time, and then it's going to start to pull back. So here's why I want you to look at dates. It is the second of the eclipses in Aquarius. The first of the eclipses occurred around August the 9th of 2017. And so from June the 9th to August the 7th. June the 7th of 2017 to August the 7th of 2017 was our first Aquarius eclipse period. Whenever I look at a lunar eclipse, I definitely look to 2 months before that lunar eclipse for clues to start showing up and for there to be an acceleration. This year, we had a solar eclipse in Aquarius on February the 15th. We have this lunar eclipse on July the 27th. And February the 15th onwards, we've seen certain events come to pass, but especially May the 27th onwards to July the 27th of this year, there's an acceleration of certain things, certain themes. And typically, there's something that needs to be released. Now, this theme of release can cause a lot of confusion. Something that we are attached to that we have to let go of. Sometimes it's physically an object, a person, a situation. But somewhere the universe has determined that whatever it is, that this thing that needs to be released is no longer serving us, and in order for us to move forward, we have to let go of the pole that we're clutching on to, and the boat is starting to move and we're not letting go, and we just have to let go because the boat has to move in that direction. Sometimes it is something physical. Money, job, relationship. Sometimes it is something energetic. Our own attachment or our own belief as to what we are in the world. If we're someone who's been taken care of financially, can we start to take care of ourselves financially? What do we need to let go of from a mindset perspective? And it's already happening. So sometimes it's our attachment to how other people should be in certain situations. And so long as we hold into that attachment, we're going to keep clashing with them. And the moment we let them be who they are, it doesn't have to mean accepting the situation in its entirety. There can at least be some forward movement, and you're not trapped in that attachment to how someone should be. Or it's an attachment to a certain situation, a certain job, a certain where the universe may be saying, believe in yourself and know that there's something here that can be released so that you can move on to the next thing. So it's very mysterious, but there is something that has to be released and let go of. And sometimes it's not a letting go that has to be, it's just that's not that you've been working in a certain place for a long time and the opportunities are coming from somewhere else. And so whatever it is that has been a home base for a certain period of time has to be released. Sometimes it's relationships. So if you think to this time period of June to August of 2017, June the 7th to August 2017, and specifically since February then 15th of this year, even the end of January, but February 15th of this year, whereby April the 15th, it's possible that certain things became clearer, and after May the 27th, there was an acceleration. Then we're heading to the July 27th full moon lunar eclipse. And I would look at these dates and really try and identify what needs to be released and see if you're holding on to things still, because it's very likely that you are. Because the planet Mars came into this part of the chart and went retrograde in this part of the chart on June the 26th, all these 26th and 27th. And Mars will remain retrograde till, sorry, I can see things that, whatever. Mars will remain retrograde till August the 26th. It's going to move out of Aquarius, where this is happening, and go into Capricorn. But then it'll go direct on August the 27th and come back into Aquarius September 11th. So, in a sentence, if someone were to say, what is going on with this area of release and all these eclipses and full moons, I will say, whatever's going on, you have to pay attention to. And the lunar eclipse full moon in a day and a half, or the days leading up to it since May the 27th, is definitely a marker. But whatever it is that needs to be let go of, these energies are going to continue to play and not reach complete resolution or clarity till after September the 11th, and maybe even into October. With Mars going retrograde in this part of the chart, it's as if the planet Mars, the planet of action and planet of drive, came into this part of the chart, took stock of the situation, was just like, all right, you are not letting go. So I'm going to go reverse, I'm going to go retrograde, and we're going to sort this crap out. The funny thing is with Mars going retrograde, it's almost like there are two counter energies. One is Mars going retrograde to take stock of, to review, to go over certain things, to make you really feel like, yes, this is the decision. Mars retrograde may bring you further evidence with regard to what it is that needs to be released, what it is that is not working, what is no longer tenable. You may be in a job situation and you're really hoping that something comes through, and the Mars retrograde period may be just like, all right, this is never going to change. Or there may be something with a relationship where you're trying to let go and you're just like, oh, I wish I could make this work. They're so nice, they're so sweet, they're so this, and it's just like evidence comes through. All right, this is never going to change. And so the Mars retrograde actually is helping strengthen resolve. But Mars retrograde energy means that Mars's sort of bloody, brutal, bull in a china shop, aggressive, determined, let's get this done approach softens too. So it could actually be a really great time in a certain sense to have heartfelt conversations where Mars's very dynamic energy can be somewhat dimmed. The other thing with Mars retrograde is you may find that in order to get things done, it's just that much harder, because when a planet goes retrograde, it's a little bit as if it goes on vacation. And so that drive and that energy to get things done, there may be, you have spurts of getting things done, then you just want to take a nap, or it's just hard to keep going and making things happen. But the energy of making things happen is very much there, particularly when it comes to this area of release. Mars retrograde may give you the data you need in order to finally put things to bed. And once Mars goes direct on August the 27th and re-enters Aquarius September the 11th onwards, it'll be really interesting to see after September 11th into October where you're at with these mysterious energies of release. And what sort of a marker does this lunar eclipse full moon in a day and a half's time play in this process? Now, with individuals and individual, it's fun. You can really point to it. For some people, it happens around May the 27th. For some people, it happens during that timeline. Some people earlier this week. Accelerate. So, just thank you, car alarm. Thank you. Thank you. Signaling approval of what I am trying to tell you, and maybe encouraging me to keep it short because it's about 10.5 minutes. I've given you the dates. June the 7th through August the 7th of 2017. February the 15th to July the 27th. Mars re-entering this part of the chart direct on September the 11th. Thank you. So try and identify whatever it is that needs to be released, and if you've been holding on too tight, see if since May the 27th things have been accelerating. See if since June the 26th, when Mars went retrograde, there's actually strangely been greater resolve and greater evidence and greater clarity around what needs to be let go. See if the July 27th full moon lunar eclipse in a day and a half's time acts as a marker of sorts. And then let's wait till after September 11th and see exactly how this resolves itself and where you find yourself, people. And that is my full moon lunar eclipse update. Mercury retrograde, all the standard Mercury retrograde things apply. I started to do this video first, and then I screwed it up, and then I paused it, and then I had to start again. And technology, and delays, and commuting, and horrible conversations with customer service, and horrible conversations in general where you feel like you're in the twilight zone. Mercury, the planet of commuting and transactions, and making communication, and making things move, calmly and smoothly forward in a well-oiled or well-greased way, and technology going retrograde means that it sort of loses, in the way that we experience it, its power. But it can also mean that it's a great time to have to relook at things and revise things and relook at contracts, and tricky time to sign things. One thing, if you have Mercury retrograde in your birth chart, won't you see if a Mercury retrograde actually works to your advantage? Do you all of a sudden find that you are in sync with the world when Mercury is retrograde? It could be, if you have Mercury retrograde in your birth chart. Okay, that's all I'm going to say. There's going to be more on Mercury retrograde in the August 11th solar eclipse video, because both Mercury retrograde and the August 11th solar eclipse are in the sign of Leo. And I will leave it at that. And I hope you have as happy a full moon as possible. And if there is a meltdown or it acts as a marker where you have to release something, won't you just pay attention to what needs to be released and act towards doing so? All right. If you want greater clarity, you want a reading, you want all that kind of stuff, if you want to talk to me, I'm going to have an email address in the description area. So you can always reach out to me there, and we can set something up. Otherwise, watch my solar eclipse video for July the 12th. It's already out there, and I'm going to do an August solar eclipse one shortly as well. All right. Thanks a lot. Bye. How do I stop this?